Okay, be it resolved that experience is overrated. Please welcome our Prime Minister Dean to speak to us for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Leader of the Opposition, ladies and gentlemen. Experience is overrated. Experience is life or work-based learning, and overrated appears more important than it actually is. So, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you will know, you hear experience is what you want in a worker. Well, ladies and gentlemen, or an individual, what I would argue, for example, is that oftentimes people get very set in their ways. If you look at somebody who's been in the same company, the same business, same realm for 35, 40 years, they get very set in their ways. You've heard the phrase, or the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in today's continuously changing environment, computers, technology, and the like, the last thing you need is an old dog, ladies and gentlemen. You need to have new blood in a company, somebody who knows what's going on. Now, that does not necessarily mean that the person has experience, because, ladies and gentlemen, experience is in fact overrated. Someone who is new out of school, who may not have experience at all, but has the knowledge and can learn that can be trained or learn on the job, is an effective worker. Now, the opposition will argue, well, that's experience. He's getting experience, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in fact, one cannot help but get experience. But again, the issue is not the experience factor, it's the learning process and being continuously open to new learning and new understanding of what's out there in the work world and in life. Another thing is that experience is often confused with longevity. Now, those who are familiar with union jobs know that people stick around for a long time often, but that doesn't mean they're good at what they do. They just happen to stay below the radar, not cause any upset with the boss, and they hang around until they can collect their pension. That doesn't mean that they're experienced. That just means they're hanging around. Ladies and gentlemen, it's overrated.
Mr. Prime Minister, now to welcome the Leader of the Opposition. Please welcome Michael for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Leader of the Government, for kindly making one of our points for us. He did give us credit for making a point, which thank you for making. He did say that one of the problems is that people can get set in their ways. They can, but he didn't prove that they do. He was talking about potential. Some get set in their ways, some don't. So yeah, I'll agree, they can, but his job was to prove they do get set in their ways, and he failed to address that. Ladies and gentlemen, is he saying that education is enough? You know, I think we all know that experience makes the best teachers. Many schools today send their students out for placements because they know that nothing is as valuable as on-the-job experience, learning out there. More and more schools are sending people out into the field as part of their education because they know that book learning isn't enough. Ladies and gentlemen, we learn from our mistakes and we become better. Maybe the government is set in his ways and is just coasting in what he does, but most people are inclined to work very hard and to improve themselves if they're any good at all. And I'd like to suggest that they aren't very good, hopefully they'll be fired, so that nobody in that workplace gets set in their ways. You know, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourself a few questions. Would you want your brain to be operated on by a doctor who has only had one experience with brain surgery? Would you want to entrust your hard-earned money to a financial advisor to whom you are the first client? I don't think so. Would you want to, if you were wrongly charged with murder, would you want to put your life in the hands of a lawyer whose cap has just only slipped off their graduation ceremony 2 weeks ago? I don't think so. If you had a hockey team, would you entrust your franchise to a person who's never coached before? I don't think so. And would you want to drive your car over a bridge that was designed by an architect or an engineer who has just graduated? I don't think I'd want to take my semi-truck over that. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that experience is the best teacher. And surely those of you in this room who have seen debaters, who thought they knew something about debating, come here and become better debaters, purely by experience. We all have seen it in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, you as debaters know by what you see in this room that nothing is as valuable as experience. We've all learned that as debaters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michael. And now to sum up, for 1 minute, please re-welcome our Prime Minister, Dean.
Madam Prime Minister, I want to respond to a couple of points raised by the Leader of the Opposition. Firstly, the question is, experience makes the best teacher. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, what if the teacher you have is doing things the wrong way, and you learn it the wrong way, and you get it reinforced the wrong way, ladies and gentlemen? Then it's not a good teacher at all, in fact, and it's worthless to you, absolutely worthless. The issue about brain surgeons and lawyers and investors and the like, well, two things. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, somebody's got to start operating the first time. Somebody's got to be the first investment client, and somebody has to be the first murder trial person for the lawyer at some point, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're with him, well, you hope he's good. But ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Madoff was supposedly a fantastically experienced investor. How many people got sunk by him, ladies and gentlemen? That is something to think about. It is certainly overrated in his case, and a lot of people are still trying to find a good lawyer who's probably experienced enough to know that he wasn't a good investor.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And now it's up to you, ladies and gentlemen, who votes for the government saying that experience is overrated. Yay, 2. Yay. And who votes for the opposition saying experience is not overrated? 2, 4, 6. Thank you very much. Michael finally wins. Oh, you won 2 debates tonight. Yay.
Experience.
Overrated.